Hi, I'm Dr. Joe DeMarco, chiropractor and owner of OcraMed Health. And I don't care whether you're 20 years old or 65 years old, if you have great mobility, if you used to have mobility, if you have no mobility, you have to work it. You have to work your mobility every day. It's the way you prevent injuries. It's the way you stay fit and healthy. And what we're going to talk about and focus on today is mobility of the shoulder thoracic spine region. Now, I've done a previous video on how to work mobility in the thoracic spine. I'm going to put the card up right above me right now. Give that a click. It shows you how to loosen up the mid-back area with a roller and a massage ball. Give that a look at either right now or after this video. We're going to talk about the thoracic spine area again today, and I'm going to show you a great stretch on how to loosen up that area. Here's the issue with the thoracic spine. The cervical spine, the neck, and the lumbar spine, the lower back, both curve the same way. The thoracic spine curves in the opposite direction. Now, there's a reason for that. There's a shock absorbing effect. You wouldn't want a straight pogo stick type of spine. However, the thoracic spine curves forward. And what do we do all day? We're forward all day. We're at our computers. We're at our cell phones. And so this thoracic spine is already leaning that way. So because of our daily habits and the fact that you know, the way the world is these days and everything is at a computer and at a cell phone, the thoracic spine is going to have even more of a tendency to go forward, and it gets very, very tight and locked up in this position, creating that rounded, hunched type of position. A lot of times if it gets real chronic and severe, you'll see the humpback position of an elderly person. However, we never want to get to that position. We want to nip these type of things in the bud, and we're going to work on that today. But the thoracic spine is going to lose mobility going this way. Now, sometimes that causes discomfort in the thoracic spine. It definitely causes lack of mobility, but the lack of mobility here doesn't always cause mid-back pain. It's going to put stress into your neck, causing neck pain, or it can put stress into your low back, causing low back pain. So we want to get this thoracic spine moving. We want to keep it flexible. You have to work at it. This is a very important area to work because, like I said, if you're a person who's at a desk a lot, you're at your phone a lot, you're at video games a lot, you have to work this area. You have to keep it flexible. I can't stress that enough. So how are we going to do it today? Just going to need a couple simple things. We're going to need an exercise band. We're going to take the band and we're going to loop it behind the door onto the top rung. If you open the door wide enough, it should make a little bit of a space that you can fit this band, and it should slide right in over that top rung. Just like that. You don't have to, but if you want to, you can take some type of padding or pillow, and along the front of the door here, you can put that right on that. If you have just a regular pillow, you could even just tape it on. I do it all the time with no padding, no pillow, put a sweatshirt on. It really feels fine. But if you want to use some type of padding, get some type of padding against the door or a pillow. We're going to grab the handles of this tubing. And we're going to pull it out, make sure it's even on both sides. And I'm going to turn around and I'm going to put my mid-thoracic spine on that pillow or pad, and I'm going to hold the handles of that tubing in both hands. Now I'm going to put my heels against the door, my buttocks is against the door, my mid-back and my head, everything's against the door. I'll see if I can show you from a little better angle, but I'm standing up straight against that door. And now the band is pulling my hands back, and I'm going to stretch my arms all the way up. And I'm going to let that band just pull my shoulders back as the edge of the door or the pillow is pushing into my thoracic spine, creating motion through that area. And I'm going to let this stretch me for about 60 seconds. I'm going to do it by taking deep breaths. I'm going to breathe in through my nose to fill my belly up with air. And then I'm going to breathe out through my mouth and blow that air out of my stomach. And just nice, slow, controlled breaths. Holding for about 60 seconds, at which point I'm going to open up my shoulders a little bit, keeping that head against the door, everything's up against the door, and once again, 60 seconds of deep breathing, and then I might make another movement, even going wider. So I might go 3 or 4 different positions, holding each for about 60 seconds, and then come all the way back up. Now, a variation you can do with that, now that's great for any person that just wants to work some mobility, adjust the tension in the band on how high do you want your arms to get pulled back in that position. Obviously, go lighter if you're very inflexible, or if it's pulling too hard, you can make a tighter band, get a tighter band. But a variation of this so that you can actually bring it and use it more in a weightlifting scenario is take a broomstick now and put it through the handles of that band, just like that. Now, by using the broomstick, we can get back in that position, and now we can mimic motions that we would use in the gym, such as a shoulder press that you might be having trouble doing because you don't have enough mobility, or an Olympic lift such as a snatch. Once again, I'm going to stand, everything's up against the door. I'm going to bring that stick above my head and let that stretch me back. And then I can actually, I'm going to use my thumbs, and I'm pulling the band out with my thumbs, and I'm going to pull nice and wide and let it stretch me in a nice wide position like this. Now, the problem with the broomstick is if you're very, very flexible, you're not going to feel, you're probably better off without it, because the broomstick does hit the door. So if you have a lot of good mobility in your shoulders and your thoracic spine, you probably want to go without the broomstick. But if you have relatively tight shoulders and mid-back area, you'll still get a very good stretch using the broomstick. If you want to increase the stretch a little bit, put a thicker pad or pillow so it pushes your thoracic spine further away from the door, and that'll allow your shoulders and your thoracic spine to stretch further. But either way, it's a great way to stretch. Use the broomstick, like I said, for a deeper stretch. Get rid of the broomstick. It'll allow the bands to pull your shoulders back. I'm going to show you one more variation of this stretch. All right, let me show you another variation of how you can do this stretch. I like to do this stretch to work some mobility. One of the Olympic lifts is called a snatch. It requires quite a bit of mobility of the shoulders and mid-back area. This is a variation you can do to help you if you're having mobility issues with the Olympic lift called the snatch. Bring your pad down lower if you want to use a pad. I just have the bands hooked around my door handles just to hold them in position. But I'm just going to take them off the door handles, so I have my handles here. I'm going to hold on to these handles. Let me just reverse them. And I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to drop into a squat position against the back of the door. I'm going to drop into that squatted position like this. And then from here, I'm going to let the band pull my shoulders back in this position. I have my buttocks, my back is flat up against the door, and I'm in a squat position. I'm going to hold, just like we did before, for 60 seconds, doing some deep breathing in through the nose, belly breathing, let the belly fill with air, and then blow out through the mouth, and do that nice and controlled for about 60 seconds. And then from here, I'm going to open up and increase the stretch with a wider hand position like this. So a little bit more advanced type of technique performing this stretch in this position than what I showed you initially. But this is a great stretch to do as a warm-up before some Olympic lifting or afterwards to work that mobility in the shoulders and the mid-back. So give it a try. All right, so give those stretches a try. Do some of those different variations. Like I said, bands come in different strengths and lengths, and so just use a light band at first till your mobility increases, and then week after week, as you get more mobile, increase the tension of the band. You know, these are the type of little things we focus on at OcraMed Health when you're signing up for our 90-day fitness program, because we don't want to just build lean muscle without the bulk. We actually want to keep you injury-free, safe, and an effective plan so that if you have a current mobility issue, we want to correct it. And if you have a current injury, we want to help you get better. We also want you to help avoid making that injury worse. So 90-day fitness program, sign up now, www.OcraMedHealth.com. Also, when you go to my website, you'll see that my ebook, The Accommodation Avoidance System, is available. It's a way to do heavy weight training without hitting plateaus on your heavy lifts. Once again, it's called the Accommodation Avoidance System, and it lays out a full heavy weightlifting program to avoid plateaus. If you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to my channel, OcraMed Health on YouTube. If you got questions about exercises or injuries, just leave a comment in the comment section below. I always get back to everyone who writes in. And don't forget, OcraMed Health is here to keep you fit forever.